The moment everyone thought the story was over, that's exactly when it actually started getting complicated. Because after that Talladega run, after a YouTuber shocked the entire garage and came within inches of pulling off one of the wildest, unexpected wins we've seen in years, you'd expect the reaction to be simple. Approval incoming. Doors opening. Next step unlocked. But that's not what happened. Instead, one of the most respected voices in NASCAR, Dale Earnhardt Jr. stepped in and completely slowed the hype down. Not with hate, not with disrespect, but with a reality check that a lot of fans didn't want to hear. And what he said about Cletus McFarland might change how you see this entire situation. Because while everyone else was celebrating, he was asking one question no one wanted to answer. Is he actually ready for this level, or did we just get caught up in the moment? So make sure you watch this video till the end, because what really happened after that race and the reactions that followed completely changed the story. If you want real, behind-the-scenes NASCAR stories that most channels don't cover, make sure to subscribe to NASCAR Nation News and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Your support genuinely helps us bring you next-level content. Now here's where things start to get interesting. Because right after that Talladega ARCA race, while fans were still trying to process what they just witnessed, insiders, drivers, and veterans started breaking it down in a completely different way. And the first major reaction came from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Not excitement, not hype, analysis. Real, detailed, almost cautious analysis. Because from his perspective, Talladega isn't just another race. It's one of the most dangerous, most unpredictable tracks in all of motorsports. Speeds are insane, margins are tiny, and one wrong move doesn't just end your race, it can take out half the field. So when he looked at what Cletus McFarland did, he didn't just see the near win. He saw the environment. He saw the risk. And most importantly, he saw how little experience Cletus actually has in that kind of racing. That's why instead of jumping on the hype train, Dale Jr. essentially slowed everything down. He made it clear, one impressive run, even at a place like Talladega, doesn't automatically mean you're ready for Daytona or future superspeedway races. And that's the part a lot of fans missed. Because to the audience, it looked like Cletus had already proven everything. But to someone like Dale Jr., proving it once isn't the same as proving you can do it consistently, safely, and under pressure every single time. And that difference is exactly why approval hasn't come yet. Now here's where things flip. Because while Dale Jr. was focused on caution and long-term readiness, another top driver looked at that same race and saw something completely different. But then, a current NASCAR driver said something that completely flipped the narrative. Denny Hamlin. And his reaction? It was way more surprising, because instead of questioning whether Cletus belonged, he actually broke down how close he was to pulling it off, like really breaking it down. He talked about the drafting, the positioning, the way Cletus managed the air, stayed in the pack, and put himself in a position where if just a couple things went differently, we might be talking about a completely different ending right now. From Hamlin's perspective, this wasn't luck. This wasn't chaos. This was execution. And that's a huge statement, because when a top-level NASCAR driver starts analyzing your moves like that, it means you did something real out there, something that got their attention, something that made them take you seriously. But even then, even with that level of respect, the bigger question still didn't go away, because being capable and being approved are two completely different things. And that's where this entire situation becomes frustrating for fans. Because on one side, you have proof, you have performance, you have a guy who just went toe-to-toe with experienced drivers and didn't just survive, he almost won. But on the other side, you have NASCAR's system, a system that doesn't move based on moments. It moves based on patterns, consistency, trust, and safety over everything. And here's the part nobody is talking about. NASCAR has been in this exact position before, and it didn't end well. Not because of talent, but because of what happened under pressure, especially at tracks like Talladega and Daytona, where one decision can change everything in seconds. So even though Cletus did everything right that day, NASCAR is still asking, can he do it again? Can he handle different scenarios? Can he stay clean in traffic over multiple races? Because one race, no matter how impressive, doesn't answer all those questions. And that's why approval is still on hold. But this is where the story gets bigger than just one driver. This isn't just about Cletus anymore. This is bigger than that. Because what we're really watching is a clash between two worlds. The traditional NASCAR path, where drivers spend years grinding through the system, building experience step by step. And this new wave where someone can build a massive following, bring attention to the sport, and then suddenly prove they can actually compete too. That combination? It's new. And NASCAR doesn't fully know how to handle it yet. Because yes, Cletus brings eyes, he brings energy, he brings a completely different audience into the sport. But NASCAR can't make decisions based on popularity. They have to make decisions based on safety and long-term credibility. And that's why they're being careful, very careful. But here's the opportunity, because from everything coming out right now, it sounds like this story isn't stuck, it's just paused. There are upcoming races, chances for Cletus to get back on track, show consistency, and answer the exact questions NASCAR still has. And if he does that, if he goes out there and delivers another clean, controlled, competitive performance, then everything could change. Approval, opportunities, bigger races, it's all still on the table. But he has to prove it again, not just to the fans, not just to the drivers, but to the system itself. And that's what makes this next phase so interesting, because now the pressure is completely different. At Talladega, nobody expected anything. Now, everyone's watching. Now every move matters, every decision matters, every race is being judged at a different level. And that's where we find out the real answer. Was Talladega a one-time moment, or was it the beginning of something much bigger? Because if it's the second one, then what we're watching right now isn't just a cool underdog story. It's the early stages of a complete shift in how drivers enter this sport. And if Cletus pulls it off again, then the conversation won't be about whether he should be approved. It'll be about how far he can actually go. And that is a completely different conversation. And if he proves it again, NASCAR won't have a choice anymore.